Welcome to the Buffalo Bootleg on the Buffalo Fanatics YouTube channel and other platforms. My name is Jeremy. You can find me on Twitter at BFF_Jeremy.
And my name is Max. You can find me on Twitter at Cinco de Maxto. It's Patriots week, Monday night matchup, second time on Monday Night Football. And we got the Patriots coming into town, and I'm excited because things can't get any better for the Bills right now. It's the holiday season. We're on a roll. I'm super pumped.
I agree. Yeah, I'm feeling pretty good. I almost feel slightly rusty today, Max. We were not here last week because there was a Bills game on during the time that we play, and Rico usually does his post game, so we got the week off. But so it's been a little while. Yeah, we're coming off of a good stretch. We had the 49ers game. We gave the Steelers their second loss, and we just had a very fun game against the Denver Broncos. And I want to let's go ahead and get our reactions to that game out of the way, Max. Very similar to the 49ers game. A lot of good. Max, I challenge you do you have like one negative thing that you can think of to say about the Bills and how they played against Denver?
No, why would I want to say something negative? Why would I want to bring down the mood, Jeremy? It's been awesome.
Negative.
It's been an amazing week. We absolutely.
Sorry to cut out. I don't mean negative. I just mean, we usually talk about the good and the bad. we usually talk about the good and the bad things. So I mean negative. Like, can you think about one bad thing, like about how the Bills played against Denver?
No, I really can't. Like everything across the board was phenomenal. Even the running game, Josh Allen was lighting it up through the air. The defense was back to last year's form. Like I really can't even think of anything. And I think we don't want to start talking about like little things that are negative, because I think, why would we want to do that? It's holiday cheer, Jeremy. We gotta be festive and excited because we're gonna go to the Super Bowl and win it.
This is literally what we do every week, so stop trying to make me sound negative. But yeah, to be honest, I don't have anything bad to say either. The couple things that I put under my bad section, it's not even really against the Bills. The one bad vibe, or I guess bad highlight, was that drive where the refs were just penalizing the Bills offense on anything and everything. And I don't really think that was all on the Bills, because there's some of those plays were kind of stupid. I remember they called a holding penalty, and I remember watching the replay. I think it was like Ike Bucker who got called, and I was watching with my dad, and even he pointed out, like, the hold was so brief. Like, how can a referee even see it like in real time? So just those stupid back-to-back penalties, and I think we scored like 7 touchdowns during that drive, but they kept getting called back. Ended up having to score, just settle for 3 points. But that, and the only other bad thing I wrote down was the roughing the passer call on Matt Milano. I don't know, a lot of complaints about roughing the passer calls over the last couple years, ever since it kind of got more strict. And I guess it just depends on the refs you get, but yeah, I thought that was a BS call. Like, he literally was like on the ground. He grabbed him by the ankles. I thought that was a BS call. How about you? Actually, there. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I don't know. It's a tough call to make nowadays. There's really just such a limited win. Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me? Am I here?
Yeah, I think there's a very
Am I here?
big delay between us.
Oh, that's not good. But yeah, I thought Matt Milano, like, it's a very limited window. You can't hit the quarterback. It's such a small spot that you can hit the quarterback nowadays, and like it's tough call. It's a tough call. But you mentioned we scored like 7 touchdowns, and like 3 of them got called back. That was the most frustrating sequence I've ever felt, where we were up by like 20 points at a certain point. I've never been so frustrated in a game where we were winning by 20 points. Like it was like, holy crap, like Ike Butker. We had to go back 10 yards. We couldn't have a 1st and goal inside the 10. I think we all just decided that Josh Allen I think the Bills decided that like Josh Allen has such a big arm that we can't score inside the 10. So we have to penalize ourselves, back ourselves up to like the 20. And then we can score, because then there's more room down the field for Josh Allen to throw.
Yeah. So I guess we'll just talk about the good. And my first good thing I have is almost kind of sad in retrospect. The first thing I wrote was touchdown Jesus. Jake Kumaro came through, like his first target as a Buffalo Bill ended up being a 28-yard touchdown pass, and it was awesome. And then on Christmas Eve, he gets cut. So it kind of sad. I don't know how you're going to cut a guy on Christmas Eve, but I'm guessing it's to make room for John Brown, which we haven't heard yet. But yeah, any thoughts on that move?
Yeah, I mean, it's I wrote about it in the outrageous predictions column this week. Touchdown Jesus. We cut him on Christmas Eve. Brandon Beane must not be a religious man, because that is just a tragedy. Not very festive. And like, how did Jake Kumaro, literally, he was 1 for 1. That was his first catch as a Bill, was that 22-yard touchdown. His first catch as a Bill. So he comes into the organization, gets called up, gets out on the field against Denver. His first catch is a touchdown. And then like 3 days later, Brandon Beane says, you know what? Get him out of here. Get Jesus out of here. There's no room for Jesus here, apparently, in Buffalo. And I think that's ridiculous. I know John Brown's coming back. But like, there's certain things you can't do on Christmas Eve. I think that was blasphemous from Brandon Beane. And I really, that's something where I've lost a little faith in our organization just because of that.
Yeah, and speaking of Brandon Beane, I'm wondering if he's going through a bad time, because the Bills posted like a video of, it's like the 12 days of Christmas, I think, and it was like multiple like people from the organization singing, and it starts off like Brandon Beane, and he's like in a robe, he's got a drink, and he's wearing like a hat, and I don't know how much of that was for show, but I remember seeing that and commenting and saying that Brandon Beane looks like his wife just recently left him and took the kids. So maybe that actually happened. He obviously looks like he's going through a rough time, and he took it out on touchdown Jesus. So yeah, there's that. Take what you will.
I think Brandon Beane looked like a man in that 12 Days of Christmas video. I think Brandon Beane looked like a man that knew he's absolutely crushing his job. And he's like, it's the holiday season. I deserve to kick back, relax. I'm one of the best GMs in the league right now. And I think like the opening clip, he calls out to one of his kids. He's like, hey, this shit's not full, or something like that. And it's like, I don't, he looks like he's very comfortable in his position. So good for Brandon Beane. He had a nice hat on. I liked his hat and his robe.
So I think his wife recently left him, and he's in a tough spot. You think he's fine. He's overly confident, but he's just, he doesn't want any Jesus in the Bills. I don't know which narrative is better or worse. Let us know in the comments. But I guess we'll see how it plays out. Some other good things. In the first half, according to like the NFL app, the Bills defense had 6 pass deflections, like just in the first half. I thought that was awesome. And it kind of led me to thinking, Max, these last couple games, like, does it look like our defense is kind of like returning to form a little bit? Like, they've obviously been playing better, but are they getting like even closer? It's like where you think they were last season?
Yeah, I think they're pretty much there. And like, I know this is a Denver Broncos team where it's like, I think they only had 4 wins coming into the game, or maybe even 3, but
Maybe 5.
Only allowing 19 points. I think it was 19 points, and they really looked like they're firing on all cylinders. And I think it's a thing where like, we knew it was going to be challenging for all the defenses in the league this year, with all the COVID, the COVID slowing down the preseason. There was no preseason. And that has a really disadvantage on the defense, because the defense really relies on getting their legs up to form. And so it took a while for this Bills defense, but I think they're back to I think they're at their level of what we saw last year. And that is the biggest reason why they're a Super Bowl contender and why they should go to the AFC Championship game.
Yeah, I think it's like the right time in the season where you want to be playing your best, and I think they've been doing that. My other thing that I wrote down was the Jerry Hughes, like the fumble six from a fumble for a touchdown. I think back to the Trey White interception against Seattle. Like that was almost a pick six. He was so close, like he didn't get it. There was another one, I think it was during the 49ers game. It was a Hyatt or Poyer. They had the interception and they got really close. So two almost possible pick sixes. This one, Hughes picks it up. I think he just knew where he was. He knew how close he was, and he just did not want to go down. He was just like, he was getting like crowded by players, and he wanted that touchdown. And it was awesome because, like I said, like our defense, it's like they've been teasing us these last few games. Like I said, with that Seattle game and the 49ers game. And it's nice to finally get that defensive touchdown that it feels like we've been wanting for a while.
Yeah, and let's not forget Trey White on that play. Trey White coming off the edge, blitzing. He like he was in the spot where, he's a cornerback. He's not going to be able to go up against an offensive tackle. So he did the thing where he just ran around him, does a full circles around the running back, runs, comes at Drew Lock from the backside, jumps on him, gets the strip. He's amazing at getting the ball out. Like amazing at getting the ball out. He does it perfectly. He hits his hand on his arm. Ball comes loose. And then Jerry Hughes with doing the dance in the field. That was incredible.
Yeah. Last thing I wrote down was the Devin Singletary touchdown towards the end. It was like Matt Barkley was in the game. Like our offense was kind of just chilling. And I think even the Broncos defense was kind of chilling too. They're like, I think they're running the ball, draining some clock. And we handed off to Singletary, and he just saw some lanes and he took them. He was like, he wanted that touchdown, and it was pretty awesome to see.
Yeah. Like I want some Matt Barkley appreciation because Matt Barkley, the two snaps I can remember from this year, I think these might be his only two snaps on the field all year. Someone correct me if I'm wrong, but it was I remember against the Chargers, Los Angeles Chargers, he comes in, he takes the big sack after Josh Allen nearly breaks his knee, and then turns out Josh Allen was fine. So Matt Barkley takes the snap, gets sacked, then Matt Barkley's off the field, done for the day, takes a sack. And then tonight, or not tonight, why am I saying tonight? Last week against the Broncos, comes in relief, and his only snap of the game, he hands it off to Singletary for the touchdown. So credit to Matt Barkley for having some a very odd two snaps in this season for Matt Barkley. He gets punished on the first one, and then he looks like a god on that handoff on the second one.
Yeah. Yeah. And then overall in the offense, we did our writers room, like tailgate hour. And I think I said I predicted that Josh Allen would throw for over 300 yards. And afterwards I was like, you know what? Like with the injuries that Denver has on defense and how well our offense has been playing against good defenses, I was like, I think he could flirt with 350. And he ended up doing that. So he gets over 350 yards, 4 total touchdowns, and another AFC offensive player of the week. But I'm curious, Max, Ryan Tannehill had 5 total touchdowns. I think he had like 3 passing, 2 rushing, but like 80 less passing yards. I'm curious, like, do you think, like, how do you make that decision with Allen over Tannehill? Even though, like I said, Allen had 1 less touchdown, but more passing yards. Do you think those passing yards do it or what?
I think it's just the fact that Josh Allen is a beast and everyone's kind of fallen in love with him. And I think he just has bigger balls than Ryan Tannehill. I think he's just more of an imposing presence than Ryan Tannehill. Yeah. And I think people still have the perception in their head of Ryan Tannehill being this kind of bust on Miami where he just wasn't good. and then he has one of the weirdest careers where he goes to the Titans after like 5-6 years in Miami, and then suddenly Ryan Tannehill is reborn. Whereas Josh Allen, he's a young guy, he's looking like a superstar in this league. He's charismatic. And Josh Allen, he's just got the it factor. Josh Allen has the it factor where Ryan Tannehill really doesn't, where he's kind of boring. He's very good. He's good now. So credit to Ryan Tannehill for being bad and now being good. But Josh Allen's much cooler. Josh Allen seems cooler to hang out with.
Yeah, so like I said, Ryan Tannehill had one more touchdown. Josh Allen had more passing yards. Maybe they thought that was tied. I was going to go with, maybe they went off who looks better in shorts, which brother Bill is in the house also was kind of going. He said he was going with who looks best in shorts. But you went with ball size. I mean, who knows?
Ball size, yep.
I don't know if we'll ever know how they pick, because there's that week where AJ Klein had like the best game of his life, but they gave it to like a Tennessee Titans player who didn't really do that much. So who knows? Maybe he's got bigger balls than AJ Klein. I have no idea. But any final thoughts on the Bills Broncos game?
Just that it was awesome watching it was weird on my body clock watching a game on a Saturday. We obviously didn't get to do our vidcast, which was sad, but it was a weird hour. Like I feel like the nation didn't get to see that game because it was hidden on NFL Network. Not everybody has that. And like Clemson and Notre Dame was happening at the same time. Like I don't understand the scheduling by the NFL there. That kind of pissed me off. But obviously it was awesome, getting the 48-19 victory. Everyone's riding high on the Bills now, and it's well deserved.
Yeah. I'm curious, like, how do you feel about like Saturday games versus, Sunday evening or Sunday, like later games or Monday night games, like with the weird timing, basically like not being a Sunday 1 p.m. game? Like, how do you feel about the Saturday games as opposed to the other slots?
I'd like, if it's not like Sunday night football or Monday night football, I'd rather have like Sunday 1:00. It's just been such a weird freaking year. We've had games on a Tuesday, Monday evening, Tuesday evening. It was just so bizarre. Give me Sunday 1 p.m. football. It's been a weird stretch.
Yeah, I mean, I like Sunday 10 a.m. for me, being on the West Coast. I wake up and I don't have to wait very long. But I like Saturdays. If it's gonna be different, I would much rather go with Saturday over Sunday evening or even Monday night, because I don't know, you get it a day early, you don't have to wait as long, and you don't have to worry about not drinking too much and being hungover for work the next day. So if it's not going to be Sunday at the usual time, I'm happy with Saturdays. So
yeah, Saturdays. I mean, I think it's weird. It throws me off.
I agree. I like it too. So looks like we're back to still a long delay between you and I, Max. I hope it's still okay to watch. But let's kind of talk
about Jeremy. How about I leave the stream and I'm going to come back on a different browser and hopefully that problem will be fixed. All right. Is that cool?
Okay, let's try that out. Sure. So while we are waiting for Max to get back, let's kind of go over and take a look at some of your guys' comments. Spin0481. Remember, Josh Allen had 30 touchdowns, called back that game, didn't count. Yeah, I thought it was about 7. There was a lot of touchdowns that they had to score that ended up not working. But it is what it is. Cardinals versus Niners, a garbage game today. Yeah, I was curious how many people will be watching that. I'm curious to see how the Cardinals come out of it, because they started off hot and they've kind of been not playing so well these last few games, and they're falling back. I have not seen it. Max, how's the delay now?
I'm not sure. I hope it's good. Are we good?
Yeah, it sounds much better. Maybe like a couple seconds, but it was okay. Like at least 5 seconds before. So And your camera quality does look better. But Max, we're kind of talking about the 49ers Cardinals garbage game today. It is currently 7-6 in the third quarter. Doesn't seem very exciting. Any interest in that game, Max?
I would have interest in this game, but instead I'm participating in one of the best vidcasts in the world. So,
I was
but
just
no, the Cardinals, this is a big game for the Cardinals in terms of they are on that their seventh seed in the playoff picture right now. If they lose this game, that opens the door for the Bears to sneak into the playoffs in that last spot in the NFC. So this is a big game for the NFC. And you talk about the Cardinals. It's interesting how, I don't want to bring back bad memories for Bills fans, but the Hail Murray is all the stupid national media people like to call it. Just a Hail Mary by Kyler Murray. Once that happened, the Bills and the Cardinals went in completely opposite directions, and opposite in the sense of what the outcome was. Whereas, the Cardinals are the recipient of this huge miracle play, and then suddenly they kind of fall off after that. And then the Bills, they have a bye week, and then they come back and they're reinvigorated. I think they're pissed off by that crazy play, and then they're going on this run. They haven't lost since the Hail Murray.
Yeah, somebody mentioned earlier in the comments how they're kind of tired of hearing about the Hail Murray, and I don't mind hearing it when it's when you talk about, if it wasn't for that play, the Cardinals would be on a losing streak, and the Bills would be on an even longer winning streak. But like you said, we've been playing well since then, so it sucks. But yeah, it is what it is. But talking about around the league, Max, we had some deaths this week, and we kind of have a new segment that we like to do. I don't know what we're gonna call it, if it's like our in memoriam or rest in peace segment. But there were some deaths, and first death that I have written down, Max, was the Patriots playoff chances. Patriots have been eliminated from the playoffs. They're done. How is it in Patriots country? I know you have a lot of Patriots fans out there.
It's you can feel the grief in the air. It's a different era. You can just feel it when you walk outside and breathe in that cool December air. It tastes like losers now in the air. It doesn't taste like victory. And it was funny. I was watching the local news the other night, and I liked how it was like the local Connecticut news or whatever, and they cover the Patriots a lot and the Giants. But their first story, they were like, and now a look back at the greatness of the New England Patriots franchise. And it was a nice little deflection away from, oh, we didn't make it into the playoffs this year. Let's look back at all the good times. And that made me happy to see that because it means it's over. It's over for now. And hopefully I don't see them getting back on track in the immediate future. I think it's going to take a bit for the Patriots to come back to what they were. And it's a beautiful new era.
If I was you, I would just love if, I just got to like walk out my front door and look around, and maybe you have like a neighbor who's like got like a Patriots flag waving, and you just see like that guy just come out and just take the flag and just breaks it. And he's just like, and then, like I said, like, is that something?
Yeah, and then I go in my house and I pull out my Bills flag, and then I go over to his house and put it on his house, and then he's like, "What are you doing?" And then he calls the cops, and I get into trouble.
Worth it though. But so yeah, the Patriots are out. Another thing that died this week is Trevor Lawrence's fear of getting drafted by the Jets. Doesn't have to worry about that because the Jets won a game, and surprisingly, it was against the Rams. Like, I mean, if they're finally going to win a game, I wouldn't have thought it was going to be against the Rams. So yeah, Max, what the Jets win a game.
Yeah, listen. I'm kind of mad because I came out like, I think it was last week or maybe the week before, and I had said like during the middle of the season, I was like, the Jets are going to find a way to win one game, win one or two games down the stretch here. And then after the Jets Raiders game, where Greg Williams dials up the blitz at the 40-yard line, and Derek Carr throws the bomb into the end zone. I said, okay, the Jets are too stupid. There's no way they win a game. And I was so close to getting that right if I just hung on with my prediction that they would find a way to get a win. It just proves that like no one knows what the hell is going to happen week to week in the NFL. Because a lot of people down the stretch are saying like, well, I don't see a win on their schedule. They got the Rams and they got this and that and that. And it's like it really doesn't matter what the opponent is. Sometimes just crazy shit will happen. And Sam Darnold was on it last week, and congrats to Sam Darnold.
Yeah, this season probably like more than others has gotten me convinced that it's a week to week league. Like anything can happen. It makes me feel a little bit better about like some of the Bills
tough to
losses
win
and
in
stuff
this
like
league.
that. Yeah. I mean, look at the Bengals. The Bengals upset the Titans, and then this past week they upset the Steelers. Like, that was a game I thought, oh, the Steelers. Like, I don't think they're going to lose to the Bengals, especially against a Bengals who with Ryan Finley at quarterback. But they lose again. I mean, the Jets. They almost upset the Patriots earlier this season. They almost upset the Raiders. So yeah, like I said, this season more than others has me like convinced it's week to week. Can't always be that confident. Anything can happen.
And I feel like it's different from every other sport because it's so much more complicated in the sense that like I think there's so many more moving pieces to the game of football in the NFL. Like all the teams are fairly like there's so many different moving parts with the offensive line and the quarterback and the wide receivers. Whereas like in basketball, it's like there's two baskets and whoever's more talented at driving the lane and putting the ball into that hoop is going to win. But like football, it's like there's so many strategies, so many different things going on. Yeah.
Yeah, I was listening to another one of my podcasts, and they were talking about Reed Ferguson, long snapper, was saying that the difference in talent between like all NFL teams, it's not very big. It's coaching and game planning that make the difference. So it's crazy. I'd like to pull up this comment. Peter says, since week 9, the Bills lead the league in points per game with just under 35. And yeah, I want to pull that up because it kind of goes back to just how the Bills have been playing lately. After the last Patriots game, if you, I know we talked about it. If you had asked me, can we beat the Patriots again? I would have said, I don't know. Like this game was close. Cam Newton was running to. They were probably about to score like another touchdown, and I would have thought, I don't know if we can beat the Patriots the second time. But the way we've been playing lately, I'm like, I actually feel much better than if you would have asked me like after that last game. The defense is playing better. The Patriots are just, Cam Newton is still not playing well. Like I don't even know like if we know who's starting for the Patriots Monday night. Again, like the Bills are playing really good. So, what do you think, Max? Any comments on that?
Yeah. So Cam Newton. It's interesting to think about. I want to pull up this comment here. Someone said Cam last start if he loses. I wouldn't doubt it. I definitely would not doubt it because I think after this year, I think Cam's done in New England. I think Bill Belichick is done with this guy. The experiment didn't work. Unfortunately for Bill Belichick, it did not work. And thinking about what Cam is going to do next year, it really intrigues me because I don't think anyone can see him as a backup quarterback. The way he dresses, the way he's a 2015 MVP of the league. He's a star at Auburn. Like he was so close to winning a Super Bowl. He's a guy that's so cocky, and he's all about him. That it's hard to see him on the sidelines as a backup quarterback. So I think it's possible. I think he could just straight up retire after this offseason because I don't think any other team is going to give him a chance to start.
Yeah, I tweeted this a few days ago, I think last week, asking people where they think Cam's going to be. he's still a threat as a runner. I mean, I think he's got like last I checked, like 11 rushing touchdowns. Like he can still run the ball, but his passing is just so like I think I was looking at his where he's had, or maybe that was Lamar Jackson, I'm not sure. But is I don't think he's a starter because he is just he can't pass the ball. And when you can't really back up those running stats with passing, yeah, I don't see him being a starter. The thing is, like you said, like, will he accept a backup role somewhere? I mean, if he wants to play, I think that's his only option. But yeah, he's just not passing the ball. Do you think he starts this Monday or no?
Yeah, I think he starts. I think they're gonna roll with him. It's funny, we had my Patriots fan on the vidcast last time we faced him. Um, Jake is a big Jarrett Stidham guy, and I think that's hilarious because Jarrett Stidham, when you look at his stats, he's like, it's hard to put someone in this realm, but he's Nate Peterman-esque in the sense that his ratio of pass attempts to interceptions, it's up there. It's really up there. And Jake is a big proponent of like, you just got to give him more opportunity. And he sounds exactly like I did when I was trying to stick up for Nate Peterman after the Chargers game and after his other games. It just reminds me of him. It reminds me. Jarrett Stidham is Nate Peterman 2.0. I really think so. So I can't see them starting him. Brian Hoyer is just boring. No one wants to see Brian Hoyer playing. So I think it'll be Cam Newton. And I want to talk. I nearly put this in the outrageous predictions column this week, but looking at Cam Newton's mechanics, his throwing mechanics, it makes you think he's got to go in the offseason and work out with Jordan Palmer, like Josh Allen does, because he needs to completely reinvent his arm mechanics.
Yeah, that's seemed like it's been the problem with him. A lot of people talking about his mechanics. So he's got to put in, that work. And then again, maybe he's if he wants to play, like you said, he's gonna have to accept a backup role somewhere. But does like I said, they haven't mentioned Bill Belichick wouldn't mention, and people kind of talking about like how salty he was or whatever when he was asked about it. Who's gonna be starting, and I can't remember his response, but so you're leaning towards Cam. You mentioned Jarrett Stidham's stats were Peterman-esque. I'm looking at them in 4 games. Says he's got 54.5 completion percentage, 212 yards, 2 touchdowns to 3 interceptions. So not crazy. I don't know if he's that.
Yeah, not crazy. I know, but like,
yet.
I don't know. I think the ratio of like attempts to interceptions was really bad. I'm not sure. I want to pull up a comment here. Tom says, hey guys, enjoy your show. Love your hat, Max. Where did you get it? So actually, I've had this hat for a while now. I only started wearing it recently. I purchased this when I was, I think, in middle school, and it was a bad middle school purchase because it used to be like kind of the aqua color of the Miami Dolphins was this blue part. This red was the same. And it just looked ugly. I don't know why the Bills sold this or why I purchased it. It literally looked like the color of the Miami Dolphins uniforms. And then my mom recently, she found it and she was like, this is ugly. I'm going to paint it with acrylic paint. And so she painted it, and now it looks good now with this darker blue. So that's how I got it.
Nice. I would almost think if Belichick's going to be coy about who starts, why not just throw out Stidham? I mean, because the Bills defense is playing much better, and you might think all they have to do is worry about shutting down Cam's run game. But I think he could throw out Stidham to throw him off. If they're just planning for Cam and then they try out Stidham, that could disrupt it a little bit, but it's still Jarrett Stidham. I don't really see him making that much of a difference, but
yeah.
Anyhow,
I think it would be awesome if Bills go out Monday night and break Jarrett Stidham. Just break him. Just absolutely destroy his confidence. Like 3 picks by the Bills defense at least. Like just destroy his confidence and make sure he never plays and starts in the league again. That would be awesome.
That would be awesome. I've always felt like with McDermott and Frazier, like when it comes to certain quarterbacks, I'm just like, I just don't see this quarterback giving their defense trouble. I thought that with Drew Lock going into that game. I don't know how many, because I know he's been injured a lot, so he's almost still has he even played in like 16 games yet? Do you know? Not to
Who?
put you on the spot. Drew Lock, like has he played like
Oh,
a complete
yeah,
16
I think
games
he
yet?
has. Yeah, he was a rookie
Okay, so he's
last year. I
probably
think.
close,
Well, he's probably
but he
close.
was
He's
also
probably
injured.
right at that 16 game threshold because he started late last year.
Yeah,
I think if Jarrett Stidham starts, I think it could be kind of similar to remember Duck Hodges last year for the Pittsburgh Steelers. He absolutely, he had a terrible time against the Bills defense. I think it could be similar to that. Trey
yeah,
White could just own Jarrett Stidham tomorrow night, or not tomorrow night, but Monday night.
yeah. I totally spaced on where we're going about. But yeah, so Drew Lock I wasn't worried about, and again, I don't think Drew Lock had that great of a game. I know he was coming off of a good game, I think against like the Panthers or something, but I was like, that's just one game. Like I'm not that worried. Um, so yeah, and just like last year when we were playing their backups, so Stidham, I think we would absolutely destroy him. And if they put Cam out there, just take away his running and make him throw the ball. And I think that's all we would have to do there. How about some injury reports, Max? Sound good?
Yeah,
Let
yeah.
me go ahead
Let's.
and pull this up. I'm going to share my screen. Let's talk about the Bills injury report. Hopefully, we can all see this. So this was from today. I don't know why it's glitching out like that, but Jake Fromm, he's always limited. Tight end Reggie Gilliam has been
Yeah.
ruled
Poor
out
Jake
with a
Fromm.
knee
Jake
hamstring.
Fromm just been dealing with a rough injury all year long that we just have no idea about.
That injury called isolation. Just chill. Um,
Oh
but
wait,
yeah,
no,
so
it's not injury.
Reggie Gilliam
Yeah.
is out, so that means we'll probably see Tyler Croft. Uh, Jaquan Johnson, he went from limited to full. He is questionable. Ty and Seki went from did not practice to limited. He is questionable. And we had Daryl Williams, who was on limited but went to full. So, how you feeling about right tackle, Max? I know the Bills guys were kind of talking about this earlier today. Do you think? I know they mentioned it possibly. Oops, let me think. Max is gone. Okay, Max. I don't know if you heard anything. Do you think they trot out Daryl Williams? Do you think he plays the whole game? Do you think that maybe they try to rotate him with like Ryan Bates or something? And any thoughts there?
Are you there? Sorry,
Yes. Can you
I
see
don't
me?
know what I can do about these Wi-Fi troubles. Daryl Johnson, Daryl Williams, Daryl
Daryl
Williams,
Williams, yeah, right tackle.
Daryl Williams. Yeah, so he's limited. Daryl Williams is limited. I think, obviously, if it's anything serious for Daryl Williams, please don't put him out there because we need him for the playoff stretch. Daryl Williams
Yeah,
was probably the most important signing of this offseason outside of Stephon Diggs. The argument could even be made that he was a more important signing than Stephon Diggs. That's hard to make. But he's been so solid at right tackle for us that if I don't want to risk anything with Daryl Williams putting him out there this week if it's serious, because if he aggravates it and he has to miss multiple weeks, maybe that could lead into the playoffs. Desperately do not need that. And I know it's like, okay, if Daryl Williams isn't out there this week, is it Ryan Bates going to be in there? And then if we have Ryan Bates in there, is Josh Allen's, is his blind side not going to be protected? And yeah, not his blind side, front side, opposite of
his
blind side,
seeing
sight,
side.
seeing side. Um, but yeah, like I said, rest him if it's serious.
Yeah, quick sidetrack. Mark says, I do not think Kyler Murray is elite. I don't know who is saying these things about Kyler Murray. I think he's good, but currently against the 49ers, he has 135 yards, 19 of 31, 6 of 43, 0 touchdowns. Yeah, I don't think Kyler Murray is elite. Max, how about you?
Yeah, no, I don't think Kyler Murray's elite. He's got a lot of name buzz. You know, he went to Oklahoma, Heisman winner. When all these guys come out of college with the name buzz, it's easy to like, pat them on the back and elevate their status to higher than what they were. Like we see it with Baker Mayfield all the time. People always are touting up Baker Mayfield, and it's like, wait a minute, is he really as good as people are saying he is? And it's kind of suspect whether that's true. And then it's the opposite for guys like Josh Allen, coming from Wyoming. So I think it's just name buzz.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So as far as the injury goes, yeah, it'll be interesting to see how the Bills, tackle, no pun intended, this right tackle position with, Darrell Williams kind of coming off of a full practice is good. That's promising. So we'll see how that goes. We're still waiting to see if John Brown comes back. The weather was pretty bad last time we played the Patriots, so there was a lot of running. Josh didn't pass that much. I don't know what the weather is going to look like for this game. Do you have any idea, Max?
I haven't looked at the weather recently, no. But it's in Foxborough. Foxborough in December always is a chance for some fluky weather, some snow, maybe some rain. Jeramy's doing a little meteorology report, it looks like, on the fly.
Monday says mostly cloudy, high of 50, 27. So that's all it says.
Not bad. A little cold.
I'm hoping, I'm just hoping, the cold's fine, but hopefully we can see the passing game going on this time. If John Brown is back, great. You would think he is going to be back with the release of Jake Kumaro, because somebody mentioned why would you free up the roster spot to not have him come back? Of course, McDermott still with it. He's like, we'll see, but
although it is a little concerning why they haven't activated him yet. They released Jesus, touchdown Jesus is gone, and I would think right after that we would have heard that John Brown's been activated. So that is a little confusing for me, but let's hope John Brown is back. If not this week, next week for sure. It's going to be cold. I think Josh Allen does Josh Allen have a little trouble throwing in the cold weather? I feel like he might have a little issue with that, but 27, not bad.
Yeah, I don't know if he has a problem throwing in cold. Like I said, had to be used to it in Wyoming, but it's always been just the wind and the rain where they've seemed to kind of get away from that. But we'll see how it goes. And I don't know, is this not mentioning John Brown being activated? Is that just to keep the Patriots on their toes with their defensive game plan? That's all I can think of, but it seems like he has to be there. And the Patriots injuries, I don't even know if I want to put it up, because first off, their injury report is boring and not good to look at, unlike our injuries. It's just like a plain, it's more boring than an Excel spreadsheet. But I think Sal Capaccio posted this. The Patriots have 20 players listed as questionable.
Wow.
Yeah, which is crazy. And of those 20, I will pull that up really quick.
I think that might just be Bill Belichick just questioning what he's going to do. He's just like, you know what? Everybody is questionable. Let's play mind games. These guys aren't actually injured. We're just going to list everybody as questionable. And that's just Bill Belichick being Bill Belichick. Maybe that's what he's trying to do.
But the interesting thing is all 20 of these players that are listed as questionable have been limited in practice since Thursday. So it wasn't just today. Thursday, Friday, and today they've all been limited every single day. So
I wouldn't put it past Bill Belichick just to do something sneaky. Although that would be probably illegal by in the NFL's eyes. Super chat from DK. Shout out DK. When the Bills traded their pick to the Chiefs, Mahomes, they turned the pick with trades into White, Allen, and Edmonds. Did we win that trade? Love the question. Love the question. I'll start. We won the trade. 3 players in return for 1 player. I know it's Mahomes. I know it's superstar Mahomes, who is, if he continues his career on the pace he is currently setting, he will be the greatest of all time, Patrick Mahomes. But Josh Allen has now turned himself into probably a top 3 quarterback in the league. Tre'Davious White, maybe the best corner in the league, and Tremaine Edmonds, a solid, reliable starter at middle linebacker, and who's a beast. I think we won the trade. What about you, Jeremy?
Yeah. You know, I hate kind of looking at it like in retrospect because again, with Mahomes, nobody expected Mahomes to be like this good, and he is. So you could say that Mahomes is easily like the best quarterback right now. So you can count that as a loss. But but yeah, the 3 players we have, Tremaine Edmonds, Trey White, who are big pieces in our defense, and we still got a quarterback who, sure, in his first complete season, did he throw for 5,000 yards and 50 touchdowns? No. But in his third season, you could say he's almost playing as well as Patrick Mahomes. I just saw today that Josh Allen actually has one more total touchdown than Patrick Mahomes says. I think Patrick Mahomes probably has like 400 more passing yards, but I mean, I really don't care about passing yards without context. It's all about like the total touchdowns. I think that's more important. So he didn't get there about as fast, but he's playing very well. So yeah, I'm happy with what we have. It's okay that we don't have Patrick Mahomes. Only one team can have him, and it is what it is. So, anyways, Max, a couple names on the Patriots injury report that I'd like to throw out. I don't know a lot of people on their team, but first off, they have their long snapper is on is one of those people questionable. So if you don't have a long snapper, does that mean like you can't punt the ball? Are they just gonna have to go for it on every 4th down? Or is that like an easy person
Yeah,
to
that'd be
pull off the
interesting.
street? Yeah,
Or
so
maybe
long
just,
snapper. What was that?
yeah. Yeah, I don't know if that's easy to pull off the street. I
Yeah.
guess you would have to. I think it seems like a simple task. I think I could do it.
Oh,
Snap the ball
okay.
long.
Uh, their
So
their
I don't know.
kicker, their kicker is listed as questionable, Nick Folk. So with a back injury, uh, maybe Henry Anderson, like
I
blindside
could
hit
kick.
him also. So that could possibly happen. Damian Harris, he's kind of been like one of their premier backs. He's listed as questionable. They do have Sony Michelle back, so that may not be a huge loss. I don't know. Lawrence Guy, defensive lineman, I believe that's kind of one of their more popular players. Again, I'm just talking about the people that I know. Cornerback J.C. Jackson, who has like what 9 interceptions this season, if I'm not wrong.
Yeah.
Um,
Something like that.
yeah, wasn't put on the Pro Bowl ballot because people say they have to pay him a bonus if he makes the Pro Bowl, so they're saying they kept him off so they wouldn't have to do that. I guess pretty sucky, but oh well. Shaq Mason, one of their linemen, is one of those questionable. Dante Moncrief, wide receiver. I don't know how much he contributes because it looks like they've been relying on Jacoby Myers and other undrafted rookies of that matter. But so yeah, some of
This is
the
a
big
like
names
you're
there.
reading a book over there. This is a long list. Wow.
Yeah. Well, again, we're talking about the Patriots, trying to do a little bit of our preview, but there it is. Gilmore. Gilmore's out for the season. He got injured, I think, in
Yep.
their last game, right? Yeah. Gilmore is out for the season. JC Jackson is a pretty
Yay.
good cornerback, and he is a free agent after this season if they don't put a tag on him. That could be
We don't
interesting.
we don't like JC Jackson because I think JC Jackson was the one who he kind of had that. If you look back to last year, we played the Patriots. He kind of had a dirty-ish hit. I don't think it was flagged, but he kind of looked like he was lowering the helmet on Josh Allen. Josh Allen got a little hurt. If you remember back to last season, and I believe that was JC Jackson.
Was that the one where Josh Allen got the concussion?
Yeah, it was the one where we thought Mac Barkley was going to play against the Titans all week, and then Josh Allen came out and was like, "Get back! I'm a
Yeah.
warrior," and he played against the Titans.
Yeah, it's always surprising when somebody suffers a concussion one game and they're back with the next game. I always think like concussion, they're at least going to miss the next game because it seems like
Yeah,
it
I'd
takes
be out
about
for
a
6
week.
months if I got a concussion. I'd be lying on my couch. I'd just pretend I'd be like brain dead or something. I would purposely fail the tests. Be like,
You're
well,
just
I
like,
gotta stay on my couch, and I guess I couldn't even watch TV because like you can't look at like screens. So
what
maybe
do they
not.
do
Maybe
then?
I wouldn't purposely fail.
Do they just like listen to books on tape?
Yeah, I
With
think you can
their
do
recovery?
that, but like you're not supposed to look at like your phone screen for too long or something like that. You gotta wear cool shades around. That's probably the coolest part is you get to look like a badass wearing shades.
Hmm. Thought JC Jackson was a rookie. No, I think last year was JC Jackson's rookie year. So, Max, knowing the injuries, knowing what's up in the air. So my question for you and the Patriots, like, is there anything you're worried about on this Patriots team tomorrow?
I'm worried a little bit about Bill Belichick and about history because I got to worry about history because, and we all got to worry about history because Bill Belichick is still Bill Belichick, even though he's had a bad year and the Patriots have had a bad year. Like the Patriots nearly freaking beat us the first time we played him this year. If it wasn't for Cam Newton being a dumbass, sticking the ball out, and Justin Zimmer with the amazing punch out, they would have probably they would at least tied the game up and sent it to overtime, if not driven down the field, scored a touchdown, and won it. So I'm scared. I know this is a different Bills team than when we first played them. There's a lot more going right for the Bills right now, and there's a lot less going right for the Patriots, it appears. They came off Thursday Night Football against the Rams. They got absolutely blown out, and then they lose against the Dolphins the next week. I'm just worried about history, though, with Bill Belichick. You never know what can happen because the Patriots have been really fluky this year in the sense that one week they get blown out and the next week they turn it around with a good performance. And it's really hard to put the Patriots in a box of a good team or a bad team because they can be Jekyll and Hyde. Like you don't know what you're going to get.
Yeah, I agree. I would say I would also kind of be worried about the same thing, Bill Belichick and his defense. However, I feel better because I think we're again how good our offense is playing right now. We're playing good against really good defenses. Um, so I'm interested to see like if they can kind of continue the streak and just beat them and have it not even be that close. So
Yeah, I
yeah,
would
I'm
agree. With the
worried.
momentum the Bills have right now, coming off that win over the Broncos in Denver, I really believe we could beat anybody this next week just with that pure momentum alone, with Josh Allen and that defense on the right track. The momentum is such a huge part of the game of football. Like if we were playing the Chiefs this week, I really think we would win just on the momentum factor. It depends
Yeah.
on, coming out of a bad loss is tricky, but coming out of a win like that, like everything's going right. We're going to blow the Patriots out of the water, I think.
Uh, comment from Rick here says sit Brown. Um, I don't know entirely what he means, but Max, I would say if Brown is healthy to play against the Patriots, would you play him or would you go with Rick and sit him?
I would at least try to get him out there for week 17, just so he can have a week before the playoffs to get right, because you don't want a guy coming back in the playoff game where it really matters big time. I'd want him to at least be out week 17. But for week 16, if there's any doubt at all, I'd say rest him. But I'd make sure to get him in week 17.
Yeah, I mean, we don't know how cleared they are. If he's like completely healthy, the doctor obviously says there's no reason to rest him. He's not going to get any better. He's as good as he is. I say we play him. If you're going to rest him, I mean, I maybe play him with limited reps, maybe him and Gabriel Davis can kind of like split snaps at that other outside wide receiver. But comment, you want to pull up
Seen it.
top teams
Yeah, I got an
2020?
interesting comment here from we have a mathematician in the comments and also royalty, I guess. Royalty mathematician. This is an interesting comment. Top fluke teams 2020, good then bad, then good then bad. New England, Tampa Bay, Arizona, Raiders, Rams, honorable mention, Saints. This is an interesting comment to digest. I definitely agree. Tampa Bay, they've been so hard to wrap your head around because they got so much talent with the Buccaneers, and they can't seem to put it all together. One week they look good, one week they look bad. I would definitely agree with that. Any other teams on here stick out to you, Jeremy?
So good and bad, good and bad. I agree with New England. I agree with Tampa. Arizona is almost like a good then bad. I don't know if they've had that many like bounce back games because they started off like 5-2, and then obviously since then they're currently 8-6. So after starting 5-2, they went 3-4. So I feel like Arizona is like a just good then bad. We'll see how that works out. And isn't like that kind of how the Raiders have started off too? Like the past, like this season and last started off pretty
I
well,
feel
and
like,
then just run out of gas or steam.
yeah, I think the Raiders started off the first half of the season good, and now the second half they are bad. I don't think it's a week to week thing with the Raiders. I think the Raiders are now just bad.
Yeah. Honorable mention Saints, the Breeze injury asterisk. But I mean, even without Breeze, Taysom Hill had him at like what 2-1 while he was out.
Yeah, Taysom Hill did very well in them in relief. I'm still sad we didn't get to see Jameis Winston. Really pissed about that. I love Jameis.
So with that, Max, let's kind of talk about these last two games, and people are talking about like when we should rest our starters. What are we playing for? This game, you seem like you keep playing for that number 2 seed. Would you agree?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Because the number 2 seed
if you want
gets
to talk
you.
about seeding, if we want to talk about seeding, I've done the number crunching, and believe it or not, there is a less than 1% chance that the Bills can still get the 1 seed. Now, I'm not sure if that's true based on Saturdays, the games that are being played today and currently. But yesterday I looked it up. There has to be like 17 different games that go right for the Bills to get the 1 seed. But it basically relies on a 3-way tie at 13-3 with the Chiefs, Bills, and Steelers. And then there's at least like 8 or 9 games probably where like they matter in terms of strength of victory, like making the Bills' strength of victory better and making the Chiefs' strength of victory worse. I spent like 3 hours on 538.com and the ESPN playoff machine figuring it out. So I'm still holding out for that.
Yeah.
But more realistically, the 2 seed, I want the 2 seed. The 2 seed is huge because that means the 2 or the 3 seed is huge in the sense that like if we get the 2 or the 3, we are guaranteed not to have to face the Chiefs before the AFC championship game. That's the biggest thing to me.
Yeah. So the obvious thing would be Bills win out, Chiefs lose out. We get that tie. And so if we get that tie, do you know off the top of your head like how exactly we would beat the Chiefs in a tie, because they beat us? So wouldn't they get that tiebreaker?
Okay. So the AFC West played the NFC South this year. We need the games where the Chiefs won a lot of games against the NFC South. We need to make those wins look worse. In order to do that, the NFC South has to lose their games down the stretch. So week 17, it basically a big week this week, because in week 17, the NFC South plays each other. And that doesn't really matter because this is a lot of thinking, but the NFC South has to lose games this week 17. So remember that, and remember that the AFC East played the NFC West. So the Bills, we played the Cardinals, the 49ers, the Seahawks, the Rams. The teams that we beat in the NFC West, we need to make those teams look better. So we need the Rams, the Seahawks, the 49ers to win their games week 16 to increase our strength of victory. Basically relies on those 2 things, and then there's a lot of other stuff. There's a lot of other games that I sorted through that I can't remember off the top of my head because there was a lot.
So basically, we just need a better strength of schedule than the Chiefs.
Yes, it's
Yeah.
all about strength of victory is the tiebreaker. It comes
Okay.
down to. So that means that games that we lost to, like we lost to the Cardinals, we don't need the Cardinals to look like a better team because we lost to them. It's only about the games that we beat, the games that we won. Those teams need to look better, if that makes sense.
Yeah. So and I mean that's good. I mean we beat the Chiefs. I'm sorry, we beat the Steelers. We beat Seattle. So that's just a couple. The Rams looked good before last week. I don't know how that helps, but the Chiefs are playing the Falcons and then the Chargers. So two teams who don't really have great records. So I think that's kind of a good outlook, right? Um,
Yeah.
so yeah, I think we're still playing for that 2 seed. I don't think we're resting anybody today. It gives us home games, right? That's 2 seed.
Yeah,
That's what
home
we
games,
want.
of course. 2 seeds,
Yeah,
2 home games, guaranteed 2 home games if we win the first one, obviously. Um,
but
and
the interesting thing,
obviously,
sorry, if we win and we go into week 17 with we would be 12-3. If the Steelers also win, they're 12-3. They could be, and then they're going against the Browns, who's a divisional team, who is kind of on their tails. If we go in there with a tie and the Chiefs are going against the Browns for everything, do we still need to be playing week 17 for something as well?
um, I mean, how do we lock up the two? If someone in the comments can break down how we can lock up the 2 seed, I'd like that because I haven't looked into that. Um, Obviously, like if the Chiefs are probably going to beat the Falcons this week. I think we can kind of assume that. And once that happens, the 1 seed's out of the picture. Um, so I don't know. Can someone in the comments break down the 2 seed stuff?
So the Browns have the Jets on the 27th, which could basically they would be tied with the Steelers, and then they play the Steelers, and then the Steelers. I'm trying to pull up their schedule. The Steelers play the Colts tomorrow. That's my wife's team, so that could be a tough win for them. I mean, they're on a 3-game losing streak. The Colts are, I think, a more I want to say a more solid team than the Steelers. They have a good defense. Defense probably not as good, but it's up there. And the Colts probably, I could say, have a better offense. So after this week, the Browns and the Chiefs could be tied. I'm sorry, the Browns and the Steelers could be tied. And then they're going into week 17 for the division. And then at that point, I think we would, if the Steelers lose, number 2 is locked up, right?
Yeah. So Peter breaks it down. The 2 seed is locked up if Pittsburgh loses to the Colts. 2, the Titans lose to Green Bay, and 3, the Bills win. So that makes sense. Obviously, we have the tiebreaker over the Steelers head to head. One more loss for Pittsburgh there that would kind of push them out of the picture, and then the Titans, who have 4 losses right now, if they lose to Green Bay, that pushes them out. So that makes sense. Hopefully, I got that right.
Yeah, he says that in another one. So we need a Pitt
Yep.
and Titans loss, and of course we got to win. So, um, very interesting. So, yeah, what's next, Max? What do you want to do? Sorry, this eating conversation. If you guys want to throw in, we got
throwing some
about
questions in the chat.
the next 20 minutes or so. Yeah, whatever you guys
Oh
want
wait,
to talk about.
this is a little topic, but one of the guys on our injury report is Reggie Gilliam, our fullback, which I don't think he's actually lined up as a fullback. In my memory, I cannot remember a single play where he's done that. He's mainly kind of used as a tight end every now and again. He's limited. So let's say he doesn't suit up Monday night. Our fullback, I think, might be TJ Yeldon. Maybe they might activate TJ Yeldon because I remember I want to say the Chiefs game or the Titans game, TJ Yeldon actually kind of lined up as a fullback sometimes, and they gave the ball to Moss or Singletary. So that's a possibility. But I don't know. we're not going to use a fullback
think
that much.
I've seen, yeah, if we don't even have somebody on the team listed as one, I think that's something that they just moved away from. A couple people, and this is the second time I can recall. Leah says Duke, so that's interesting. So first off, I think Croft will replace Gilliam, and then with that release of Kumaro, I mean, if Brown is active, I don't know if Duke gets called up because I'm sorry, like we got what we want in Duke in Gabriel Davis. You know, you got that big bodied
I would
receiver.
agree. Yep.
He's got the hands. I'm not saying Duke still can't be called up. I mean, why not? It's a practice squad. You got the option to, but I mean, he's been called up before. He only played like a couple snaps, you know, um, maybe. But I think Croft is definitely gonna take Reggie Gilliam's spot. And if like I said, if Brown is going to go, I think you got to bring him back for the Patriots. I think even if he just splits reps with Gabriel Davis. Any thoughts there, Max?
Yeah. Anytime we talk about Duke Williams, I fear that our viewership is going to like drop in half or something because I think people are so sensitive to any sort of Duke Williams slander. And listen, he's just not a complete player. Like he just can't put it all together. So I don't think we call up Duke Williams. We have we have Gabriel Davis, who's very similar. He can make that contested catch. You saw him against the Chargers. He made that amazing like 40-yard deep ball contested catch over the Chargers defensive back.
Yeah.
Duke Williams, the Duke Williams story is over. I'm sorry. I know he's on a practice squad still. The Duke Williams story is over.
Yeah.
I like the guy. He's a cool story. I'd like him to succeed, but he had his chance and he couldn't really follow. He couldn't put it all together.
Yeah. I would like to pull up this question, Max, because this has been going on. Who will replace Brian Dable if he leaves? The better our offense does, just the more talk about Dable leaving happens. Do you think Brian
I
Dable
saw
is a
something
head
on
coaching
Twitter,
job?
Jeremy. I saw something on Twitter because everyone's talking about Brian Dable obviously potentially leaving, and I think Bill's Mafia on Twitter is kind of saying, "Hey, we should start making some bad stuff up about Brian Dable so that teams are turned off a little bit by him." So I think we should start doing that, Jeremy,
Oh,
because
I've
we have a
already
lot of pull
gotten it.
in the NFL community, and
Totally.
if we start throwing things out there, people are gonna say, "Ooh, Brian Dable, is he a guy we want to bring into our organization?" I don't know.
Yeah, I already started that. I got in on it. I mentioned I said I saw Brian Dable run over a deer, and then he waited for the deer's fawn to check on its mother, and then he backed up over that too. Uh, I got really dark with it. Sorry. But hey, you've seen
Wow.
Bambi. It's not that much different. Uh, so people have been putting those things out there, talking about Brian Dable. I think where do you think Brian Dable would go, Max? Any thoughts there?
Where would he go? I mean, what are the coaches on the hot seat this year? I mean, you got the
I think,
Jets, which
yeah,
he's gonna be fired. Adam Gates is gonna be
mhm.
fired, but
The
like what
Lions
other
will have a
what would be
vacancy.
good where do you think Brian Dable would want to go?
I think of first thing I think of is the Chargers, um, because and that's the thing. If you want instant success or quick success with Brian Dable, then he's got to go somewhere that has the talent, but is just like has poor coaching. Um, if you send him somewhere to a team that needs like rebuilding, then again, it's like you're gonna have to wait until you get the talent up. Because look at how he was with an offensive coordinator here. Like he was okay. He got better as our talent got better. So I think Chargers would be really good. Like once he got there, he'd have a young quarterback, which is good because he's already shown that he was on a team that helped develop a quarterback. Um, Justin Herbert is already playing very well, so you might, but obviously he'll still need some development. So I think that would be an attractive thing. And they have weapons on the Chargers as well. So yeah, I think that would probably be the first place I think of, and I would probably choose that over the Jets like 9 times out of 10.
Yeah. Yeah,
Uh,
I think you're right. The Chargers for sure, and then it's basically like the places that have a franchise quarterback in place. So the Chargers, and people in the comments are saying the Texans, which I would definitely agree with. You know, when you have Deshaun Watson or Justin Herbert, two really young guys that can, you know, having a franchise quarterback is such a relief for a new head coach, knowing that they don't have to go out and in the draft or free agency find the guy, because so much of head coach success relies on who the signal caller is, who the quarterback is. So, yeah, I think Brian Dable could definitely do some creative things with the Chargers offense, having the weapons. You know, they got Mike Williams and Keenan Allen. There's a lot of talent on that Chargers roster. And then with the Texans, it's like you got Deshaun Watson and then no one else around him. But you have Deshaun Watson, one of the best quarterbacks in the league. So if you can build up that skill position talent, you have something in Houston. And then maybe another candidate. I think the Bears would be a pretty good candidate. You know, Chicago doesn't really have a franchise. They don't have a franchise quarterback right now. Mitch Trubisky is probably going to leave. The Bears are probably going to find a new quarterback next year. But they have skill position talent. They have Allen Robinson. They got David Montgomery. And I think Brian Dable could do some creative things in that offense too.
yeah, the Bears aren't really.
But hopefully he doesn't
place.
leave.
Yeah, the Bears aren't really in a good place, like draft wise, though, to maybe get the next, like,
yeah, that's true.
quarterback, because you got the Jets and the Jaguars that are up there, and they're probably going to draft somebody. The Bears would have to like trade up or do something. So I don't know. Replacements for Brian Dable if he goes. A lot of people mention our quarterbacks coach Ken Dorsey, and he's never called plays. People say he's never been an offensive coordinator. A few weeks ago, I was looking at this up. I looked at every team's offensive coordinator, and I was curious like what the last position they held was before their first offensive coordinator gig. And so I looked at like all 32 teams, and like I think it was 19 out of 32 offensive coordinators were a quarterback's coach the season before they became an offensive coordinator. And of like those 10 or so that weren't a quarterback's coach, like some of them they were a quarterback's coach at one time. It was like, but it wasn't just their last one. So a lot of quarterbacks coaches have gone on to be offensive coordinators. And I think it'd be cool to like also just get some, fresh blood, because you always hear people talk about how like coaches and coordinators are just recycled and stuff like that. So I'm always down with seeing somebody new getting the chance, and somebody who's familiar with Josh Allen already, kind of knows our system. I think that'd be interesting.
Yeah, that's an interesting thought. I hadn't thought about that before, but yeah, like that makes sense that the quarterback coaches would be popular candidates for the offensive coordinator job. And yeah, I think if we took a risk on Kenty, I'd be all right with that. Like, yeah, he's familiar with Josh Allen. He's familiar with Brian Dable's offense. I'd be interested, to give him a shot. Cause like, I'm thinking in my head right now of like, cause normally the head coaches that get fired are probably going to be hired as coordinators somewhere. Maybe Matt Nagy in Chicago. That's the one that jumps out, where he's like kind of a offensive guy, but the Chicago offense hasn't been that great this year. So
Yeah,
I don't
that's
know.
what's interesting.
I'm not sure.
His offense hasn't been good, but that's like supposed to be his area, but
yeah. Yeah.
So yeah. Tom says, are you traveling to Buffalo for the parade if the Bills win it all? Max, I don't know about you. I know you're close. I don't know how far from Buffalo actually are you. I don't really know the distance.
It would be like a 6-hour drive for me. It's possible. I won't commit to it, but that would be a big event. Although with COVID, I don't know. I don't know if I would do that.
With COVID, I don't think I'd be
commitment.
making that travel. Yeah, I would probably stay put, but I would definitely be watching for any live streams. So.
Oh yeah. I wouldn't go to class that day. I would a Victory Monday. That'd be the ultimate Victory Monday. I would not go to class.
Yeah. Definitely. Max, any closing topics? Any questions? Somebody asked for some score predictions. Maybe we can do some scores and stats. I hope to see more of a at least balance, if not, see them Josh Allen go out and not be afraid to pass this ball. Again, especially with Gilmore being out, the weather not being like it was last time. I don't want to see, us trying to establish the run. I'd like to see them pass on this defense and, like I said, kind of pick them apart. How about you?
But Jeremy, you got to establish the run. You got to, put your head down and and let a man hit another man and run the football, Jeremy. Come on. No. Let Josh Allen sling it. Let Josh Allen.
We established
let Josh Allen sling it around the yard for. No, we don't have to. No. Let Josh Allen throw the ball. We're slinging it around the yard, and Josh Allen's going to throw for 25 touchdowns today. Or not today. I keep saying today. Monday night, he's going to throw for a lot of yards and a lot of touchdowns, and it's going to be great, and all is going to be right in the world because the Patriots will be humbled once again. That's going to be beautiful. I'm already declaring victory.
Speaking of the run game, if not for Singletary's 51-yard rushing touchdown, the snaps, the production between him and Zach Moss last game were definitely to be in favor of Zach Moss. And I had said on the writers room before that I trusted Singletary a little more than Zach Moss at this time. I kind of want to ask you that question, Max. Going into this game, who do you think McDermott and Dable are kind of favoring right now, and what do you hope to see with the running backs, Moss or Singletary?
I don't think I have a preference at this point. If earlier in the year it was probably Singletary, and then as it moved forward, maybe Moss. But right now, I think they're even for me. I like both of them. They both provide different styles of running, and they both have their role for certain situations. So I like that, and I like both of them.
Yeah, I agree. I'm kind of okay with them being an A and B. If they can just both produce equally, I'd like to see that. It'd be sad to see Singletary get overtaken by Moss, because he was fun to watch last season. I think we wanted to see that this year, but then they went and drafted another third rounder. So I'm okay with the committee running back approach, but yeah, I hope we go out there passing the ball, pick them apart. Scores, Max. What do you think? You have a score prediction?
Before we get to the score prediction, I have an interesting comment here from Ali Akbar. I have a question. Does Billy Blue Balls Belichick go back to the Jets and draft Lawrence, becoming next powerhouse in the division for another 20 years? I don't like to think about those things. But yeah, sure. I think it would be possible. It's something we would joke about that would happen because it's Bill Belichick and he's a wizard.
I say no. I think obviously stays with the Patriots. This was a weird year. They had a good amount of players opt out this season because of COVID. It'll be interesting if next season is kind of similar to this season. It'll be interesting to see what those players, how they feel, what they do again. But yeah, I don't look. It's still Bill Belichick. I think they have the possibility to turn around and be very competitive next season. I think the Dolphins are also going to continue to be competitive as well as us. I think the AFC East is going to be competitive. I think that's going to keep happening. I absolutely want us to stay on top, but I don't think it's going to be a cakewalk for us either.
Yeah, I don't think it'll be a complete cakewalk because it's a division rivalry, and it's going to be different again. It's different against a division rival than it will be against Denver. It's just the teams are more familiar with each other, and we've seen this year weird things always seem to happen in division games just around the league this year. That's kind of been a trend. So I definitely agree that it's going to be, we're going to have to fight tooth and nail, but I think we should win by 10 or more, hopefully.
Yeah, I would like to see a 10-point win, and one of those 10-point wins where it's we were up by 17, but we just let the Pats score one kind of garbage time touchdown. yeah, I hope it's a strong lead and it's not even that close. Lay Mistress, I think I can get away with locking up work 45 minutes early so I can watch in peace. Max, did you
Yeah,
pull that one up?
I think you can get away with it. Only 45 minutes. It's for the Bills. It's a special time of year. It's December football. That's different than November football and October football because it's in December, and
Yep.
it's getting down to the wire. So the playoff push. You got to get out of work. Get out of work.
I'm gonna pull up this one. 115 or 115 says, "Hope the Jets hire Rex and his bro." The only way I see them making their way back, and this is possible, is Adam Gase gets fired, and he said, "Hey, can I recommend my replacement?" And the owner of the Jets is stupid, so he's going to be like, "Sure, I'll listen. Who do you got in mind?" And he's going to be like, "How about you bring back that Rex Ryan fella and his brother?" Like, and it's because Adam Gase is terrible, and he's like, "I want to sabotage this franchise even more on my way out." And the Jets owner is stupid, so he may actually consider that. That's the only way I can see the Jets bringing back Rex Ryan.
I think that would be great though, because it'd be like, hey, I think if Adam Gase was like, hey, if you went up to ownership and been like, hey, remember those years when mediocrity? Remember those years when we were like mediocre and bad sometimes? Remember how good that felt compared to where we are now? I think ownership would be like, yeah, that's better than we are right now. Let's just take that back. And then I think it'd be great if they hired Rex Ryan and they're just like bad but not super bad. That would be fun. It'd be fun. I want to see Rex Ryan on the sidelines again, just so we can like make fun of him and his bro.
Right.
I don't even remember what's his brother's name. But he's fatter.
But you're absolutely right. It would be an improvement, so maybe they do that. And then I bet with like Rex Ryan in charge, like with the second overall pick, he doesn't even draft a quarterback. He drafts like a defensive player. That would be funny.
Yeah. What is this comment from Prince of Mathematicians? Rex is the absolute MVP on NFL Live, the best thing on there. No, man, no. You shouldn't be watching NFL Live. You should be watching Buffalo Fanatics, vidcast, podcasts, reading Buffalo Fanatics blogs. Don't watch NFL
Live. Somebody said that the Cardinals are about to lose. I got to look up right now. It's a 20-12 San Francisco with 1:05. So very possible. Richard has a score prediction of 17-9. I would hope that we can score more than 17. I would like to see more than that.
Yeah, I'll throw my prediction out there. Score is going to be 28-16 Bills.
Yeah, I would go with 28 for the Bills. It's still a Belichick defense, so I'd be happy if we get a 28. 16, yeah, like I said, if if we give them like one garbage time touchdown where we're just playing prevent and we let them go down and score. But I think this was like my same score prediction for like the Broncos game last week. I think I said like 28-10. But afterwards I was like, 28 is a little low though. I think we can get even more into the 30s. So I'm kind of feeling the same going into this game because like I said, it's a good defense. They are injured, but they have good coaching and the offense is just, yeah, their offense is their offense. Richard says, if I say hi, it's low. It worked the last 3 weeks. So, okay. So if you underscore it, then they score more. I like that strategy.
Do what works for you. Do what works.
Yeah. Lone Wolf of 31.
The Bills' final score line all hinges on Richard Rush. We all know that.
Yeah. All right, Max. Well, anything else, Max, you'd like to close on? Any last minute topics or ideas?
No. Oh, you know what? I think we talked before this. We said we were going to wear our Bills Christmas gifts. I got this nice mug for Christmas. Shout out to my family. My grandma got me this Bills mug. Very much appreciate that. And I got this awesome Bills shirt from my girlfriend. So that was pretty sweet.
Very nice. I received a what was it? An apron for like grilling, barbecuing with accessories and such. It was just black, but it had like the Bills logo on it. I got it from my wife. So other than like the Bills logo, it just looks like a black apron with accessories. And my dad did order some AFC East champs shirts from the Buffalo Fanatics fan shop. So those are on the way, and I'm excited for that. Waiting for that
That's
message to get the
awesome.
Mac.
Yeah, that's awesome. I love getting Bills gifts.
So we're back to that really long delay. So we're gonna go ahead and end the show now. Thank you guys for listening. It's nice being back after a week off. My name is Jeremy. You can find me on Twitter at BFF_Jeremy. And Max is going to do his sign off in about 5 seconds.
And my name is Max, and you can find me on Twitter at Cinco de Maxo. I started that sentence in the middle of your sentence just so the lag would catch up.
Smart.
Go Bills.
Go Bills.